OK, let's go back to one of our earlier stories, the International Criminal Court ruling that South Africa failed in its duty when it didn't arrest the Sudanese President Omar al-Bashir, who is wanted in connection with alleged war crimes in the Darfur region. We can try again with our guest, Alison Smith, who is legal counsel and director of the International Criminal Justice Programme for No Peace Without Justice. Alison, I'm hoping that you can hear me this time around. I was just asking about the fact that South Africa was saying that when Bashir visited back in 2015, he had diplomatic immunity. What's your reaction to the fact that the ICC has now ruled that South Africa failed in its duty?
Thank you, and yes, I can hear you now. Thank you for coming back to me. I mean, we're obviously very pleased with at least part of the decision today by the ICC, in particular in relation to the ruling that South Africa had an obligation to cooperate, and the fact that President al-Bashir may have immunity in other arenas. He doesn't have it in respect of an arrest warrant issued by the International Criminal Court. So the fact is that a South African court has said this, and now the ICC itself has said this. South Africa should have arrested President al-Bashir, and if he ever came back, they would have to arrest him.
So what sanctions or penalties can South Africa now expect?
From the ruling today, it doesn't seem that there is going to be much follow-up to today's decision. The second part of the question that the ICC was looking at today was whether or not they should refer the non-cooperation by South Africa to the United Nations Security Council. They decided that they would not refer the matter to the Security Council. They said because they didn't expect that it would obtain cooperation, in part because South Africa had already recognized in a sense that it should have cooperated by withdrawing its appeal to the domestic court decision that had said essentially the same thing. So there will be no consequence, let's say, in terms of the Security Council being formally notified that South Africa has failed to comply with its obligations.
To be fair, South Africa is not alone in not arresting Bashir. Apparently, the Sudanese president has visited more than 20 countries since these arrest warrants were issued by the ICC. And that includes countries which are signatories to the ICC. So there seems to be no political will to carry out these arrest warrants.
Well, I think the fact that he's visited only 20 countries or so out of 190 odd countries is a signal of some kind of political will, at least on the part of some states who would arrest him if he did arrive in their country. So I think the main failing that we see here is on the part of the United Nations Security Council, and the fact that having referred the situation in Darfur to the ICC, there's really been very little follow-up in terms of encouraging cooperation and ensuring that the ICC is in a position to do its job with respect to the crimes that have been committed in Darfur. So we would like to see more being done by the Security Council to try to work out what they're going to do to encourage cooperation and what they're going to do in the case that states do not cooperate with the ICC.
Alison, I'm glad we managed to get back to you. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Alison Smith in Brussels there.